Back, I'm Gertie Rude. Back again, that Wednesday mood. Well, here I am, and as promised, I've brought you the eponymous and infamous Jeanette Archer. Oh, I thought it was Janet. That's how long I've not had a look at her. It's Jeanette. Jeanette Feltcher. So 50 voices of ritual, and then that word. Following on with what I was saying is about exposing online scammers and online grifters, basically. To that end, I've done her before on my back catalogue X amount of times. I can't even remember how many times I've called her out. But since I've been preoccupied this past year, she's, like a number of them, are back grifting. So this is actually a year old, so this was made like in August last year. So shall we just jump in so we can all listen to what Jeanette Feltcher's got to say? Let's go to the beginning. Right, let's go. Yes, we know that bit. Right, let's go.
Traditional satanic cult family. My whole family were part of the cult.
Right.
That includes parents.
Right.
Grandparents on both sides.
Yes.
Uncles, aunts, and anybody else.
Oh, I'll stop you there because when you go, she's going to talk a bit more about her granddad. But obviously, people that were chasing her around social media at the time, along with Wedger and other people, put her through Ancestry, and like the granddad she refers to died in like the 50s. And you can see she was born in like the early 70s, if not 69, 70, 71. So there is that problem to her backstory. And that's one of, a plethora, let's just say. So shall we start with, we've established that the granddad she's going to now continue referring to, I think it's her father's father, actually died in the 50s.
That was in the family. So my mother was a breeder.
Right.
And she had me for that purpose.
Right. She had you for what purpose?
I was born into it.
Right.
Right from the very start.
So your mother was a breeder and gave birth to you, and she gave birth to you so you could breed. Right, okay, well that's kind of tenuous, but let's just gamefully plunge on. The BS is coming thick and fast. I mean, this is nothing. You wait until we get into it.
Father was also
yes,
connected to the royal estates.
Oh, well, he would be.
And worked for the elite satanic cult.
Right, he would do that as well.
So I was instantly connected in that respect.
Right.
I also was born into satanic bloodline.
Right.
And I was recognised from very early in for my abilities and my psychic powers.
I love it. She's no ordinary person, She was born into satanic rituals, and her father was connected to royalty, the royal estates, something or other. I mean, he would be, wouldn't he? He's not going to... Actually, when you look into her, she was like born in a council house in like Croydon or Crawley or somewhere. I can't really remember now, but honestly, it's like she's been well turned over and looked into and researched and proved to be what her narrative exposes her to be. But you'd be surprised how many hundreds of people believe this BS. That's not to say that there probably aren't satanic this, that, and the bleeding other going on. There probably blimmin' well is. But this whole thing ain't part of it, if you get me. She's just a grifter. Right, let's go.
And so I think probably that's why then the elites and the royal estates and everybody involved kept me on the inside.
Well, they would, because you're special. What are the typical experiences you have? Oh, here we bloody go.
You wish you hadn't asked that. I had growing up in the satanic cult from birth.
Right, I'll stop you there because it's debatable as to whether you've actually grown up, love. But there you go, let's go.
I was being prepared in the home to endure rituals.
Right.
So from sort of birth to 3 years of age,
yes,
I was being raped and sexually.
Because in other interviews she claims she can remember from birth. So she knows that from like birth to 3 years of age, she was that word and she was that word by the father. Right, let's just go on.
By my father, I was being.
I think it turned out she didn't have a dad. But there you
for go. Water rituals in the bath.
Oh yeah, yeah. In other, if you put her in your search engine, she comes up on other interviews, and as you see, she says to prepare me for the big rituals, blah blah blah. sort of from 3 years of age, I was being used for water rituals in the bath. Right, well, this is a recurring theme because they've got this template. All grifters and frauds have this template that this is the bare bones of her narrative, which she'll repeat again and again across many interviews. But then you'll find that she also tacks stuff on and adds stuff and embroiders and elaborates and then forgets points that she said before and brings up something different. So she was being used for water rituals in the bath, and then you'll find in other interviews that the water rituals in the bath, was just in fact her having a bath. As like a child. You know, when one's parents put you in the bath because you were like a child, and if your parents didn't, you probably wouldn't think of doing it because you are like 4, 5, 6. So anyway, the water rituals in the bath, and it's crafty and cruel actually because when you know about this subject, there is a level of intimate abuse. I'm not going to say the rude word, but you know the S word with children. That is around bath times because, and it is a recurring theme in many survivors that I've encountered across my very long life, because bathing is a sort of socially acceptable time when you could cover having the child naked. So I've come across it a number of times that children were in the bathing process. It was kind of, so I suppose, like, if an onlooker was like, what are you doing? It's like, oh, I'm just giving them a bath. You get me? It's that sort of thing. And she knows this, so she's co-opted it. Go on, love.
Used
yes.
For water rituals in the bath.
Yeah, we were having a bath.
Prepare me for the bigger rituals that I went into from 3 years of age.
From 3 years of age. My mother would... And no one can remember when they're 3 years of age, but she can because she's marvellous. I think she lives in the council house in Croydon still, or Corley, wherever it is she comes from. My mother had already begun the process of trauma bonding. Well, I suppose it's traumatic for your mother having a bleeding daughter like you bleeding melt.
Or it had already begun that process, the process of trauma bonding.
Right.
And she continued that also once I was released into the cult.
Right.
So that was the beginning.
She trauma bonded you.
Experiences, and then from 3 years of age.
She trauma bonded you and continued to trauma bond you when you were released into the cult. So what are we taking from this? You were trauma bonded to your mother, who then your father put you in a cult, and your mother continued to trauma bond you. Not really sure. I would have said the whole thing of being put in a cult is sort of like traumatic. But anyway, we'll take away from that. Let's just believe her. Do you know what I mean? Push comes to shove. And then from the 3 years of age, both of my parents then sold me. I'll bloody sell you. No one would buy you. I mean, if they did, they'd bring you back and want their bleeding money back, wouldn't they? 3 years of age, because she can remember being 3 years of age.
Both of my parents then sold me into the local satanic pedophile rings.
Right, oh yeah. Yes.
The satanic cults that operated within London that were more lower levels.
Not Croydon then, or Corley.
A typical experience there is that my parents would take me to houses where they were having rituals.
Yeah.
And my father would be paid to let them use me.
Right. So she's 3 years old, they're taking her around houses and she knows that her father's being paid to use her. Something or other that nobody bloody well believes, but we've all got to stagger on and listen to this hooey. And if you've got a couple of quid, do you know what I mean? Can you PayPal her?
My mother would take me into the rooms wherever they wanted me and strip me naked.
At 3 years old, you were there, you knew all about it.
And I would be used in satanic rituals. My mother would come in and collect me afterwards and wipe me down and take me home.
Right.
And my father would collect money. So that was...
So the father would collect money. She's 3 years old. She knows about this. She had eyes everywhere. She sort of knew. She dotted the I's, didn't she? And she crossed all the T's, but she was only 3 years old. And it's kind of like that. And then I went to Tesco's and I bought myself some bread. Then I thought, do I need eggs? And it's like that sharp.
The smaller scale of the satanic cults.
She knew this.
Local families.
She knew that. She's clever,
and
isn't she?
Other typical experiences would be that I was used for in satanic rituals.
Now we're getting to the meat.
The elites
right.
and royalty
right.
and politicians.
Uh-huh.
So within those situations. I would experience
yes,
torture,
right,
rape.
Yes,
I would witness murders
right.
of babies and children.
Oh,
I would witness.
Has she been to the police and written some statements, darling? Because, oh my God, this woman is such a menace. And of course, the thing is, there are people out there that have genuinely been abused, and they don't get believed. And I'm not sure, I can't really alight on whether that is the plan, or the subject just elicits the grifting crew like her, and there's a lot of them, that thinks, oh, I just go on the internet, it's the bad lads, I tell a sad story, they give me all my money, all their money. I call it the pity party power play. A lot of content creators do it. They get on there and everything's sad and this has happened. No one wants to hear it. I mean, you create content, you know, you just like, oh, I suppose some people, they are their content because they're so narcissistic. They really believe that people are interested to know whether they put their bins out. Do you get me, as an example, per se? And no one does. So, we've got ourselves a specimen here, darlings. We've got ourselves a fine specimen. And those eyebrows have always been a sort of bone of contention amongst her naysayers, you know. I think they were called the gold. What was they called? The Janet Archer's golden eyebrows or something at one point, because they were like the McDonald's eyebrows, you know, the golden M. Oh, I don't know what's going on, but I haven't been here for. Oh, I've missed you. I have missed you. She's no, I haven't.
Babies and children being
right. Come on.
cut open for their blood,
yes,
and for their meat.
Shoot 3. She knew this.
Was made to eat the organs of what came out of them.
Of course you were, darling. Yes.
That was a very typical ritual scenario.
Oh my God. The way she talks, it's just so boring. It's just like this, and then like did a bit of bread and butter. I got the butter, I got a knife, I buttered the bread. It's like that, isn't it? And because she's repeated this bullshit story so many bloody times over. Oh, I think John Wedger introduced her about 2019. I think it was before the lockdown. But we were treated to her quite a lot during the lockdown, which was like a bonus, I suppose, because they were heavy during the lockdown. The grifting was high. The grifting tide was high. It was really high. Come on. Yes.
Water rituals.
Yes, back to having a bath.
In dungeons.
Dungeons and dragons.
Mind control torture at the Tavistock.
Oh, mind control torture at the Tavistock. That's the Tavistock Clinic. They're involved with the transgender, with the children issue. I think they've just been shut down, actually. But anyway, they were previously supposed to have been this mind control, neuro-linguistic programming, and all this bleeding crap. I think the neuro-linguistic program is sort of auto-suggestion. It's the building a narrative where you use particular buzzwords, and that's where it becomes the neuro-linguistics, neurological linguistics, as in words. Yeah, that sort of thing. But honestly, they weren't controlling her mind, and she's never been to the Tavistock. If you said to her, if you pulled up to her address in your car and said, get in, right, and directly to the Tavistock, she wouldn't know where it was. She's got no clue. Go on! Annoying.
All of that was very typical in my life.
Right.
In the Satanic cult.
Right. Where or what context? Oh, here we go. You're going to love this. You're going to love this.
Very much in our Westminster Parliament.
Would be. Yeah.
Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, it would be.
And then outside of London, it would be like the Royal Estates, Windsor Castle, the Tavistock in London,
again,
which was
Tavistock,
for mind control programming.
Yeah.
And a military base I used to be taken to.
I don't know why they want to control this bleeding sub-under par's intellect's brain. But it gets worse, The grandiosity of this bleeding thing is off the scale. Come on, love.
Before I was being taken out on the jobs that I used to have to do.
Yeah, what jobs?
I was trained
you ain't never
in
worked
the
in your life.
Tavistock there as a super soldier assassin.
I was a super soldier. I was an assassin. So, I mean, I don't know if you're fessing up to doing a load of murders, bitch, but I mean, you know, you literally weren't a super soldier or anything. She just co-ops all these conspiracy theories and moulds them into a big old blancmange and sort of owns them. Let's go, darling.
I was trafficked throughout Europe to different castles. And
I mean, you weren't.
Country estates.
You weren't. Do you know what I mean? She just provably wasn't. She probably, if she has been abroad, she's probably done a fag run to Dieppe and back on the ferry. Do you know what I mean? When you do the turnaround, just gone over and got some cheap booze or something. That's what she reminded me of. She ain't been out of Britain. Been all trafficked, all these castles in the country estates. I mean, what was the other BS she come out with? Because she's come out with a load of old beer. Oh, it was before the lockdown. This was funny, and I wasn't involved. I swear to you guys, I wouldn't lie to you, I wasn't involved. I was an observer. So I was watching it because she's got she had an army of detractors. So anyway, her and her little sidekick, because being a cult leader, sort of post-menopausal old malt, yeah, she did have some sort of, they were usually either recovering addicts of some description or mental cases. And she'd obviously, like every good cult leader, be, do you know what I mean, sleeping with them. And they were going to go up to the Rothschilds. I think it's the Rothschilds. They got a big castle. I can't think, I do know it, but I can't think of its name at the moment. Anyway, so where they live. And they were going to go up there, they were going to do this, and they were going to do that. Anyway, they did it live, didn't they? I think they were streaming it live onto Facebook. And they were meeting everybody. There was just big protests. They were going to go onto the estate and attack the Rothschilds and this, that, and the other. So anyway, obviously all their detractors were ringing up the police? Anti-terror police. She's going down the motorway with her sidekick, who's an ex-SAS. I mean, he wasn't, but do you know what I mean? For the thing of this story, he was posing as somebody, sorry, this is right, meathead, you know what I mean? He was an ex-addict, if not a current one. I don't know, but he was just a Fruit Loop. So anyway, big hard man. They got their asses busted on the bleeding motorway, didn't they, by the anti-terror squad with guns and one thing and another, who pinned them up and bunged them in the cells while they sorted them out there on bail for bleeding ages. And I think it was a bit like the Diane Durham. They realised they were just a couple of crazies and dropped the charges eventually. But it was a lot of fun to watch. It was funny, especially when she got out the cells eventually, whatever, day later or 10 hours or whatever later. And she's, like she's some sort of martyr. And like, I was Christ and I was crucified for you. I was doing it for you. It's just a banana. Go on, love. Come on, let's go. It was funny.
So
it was hilarious.
Yeah, they did try to traffic me to the US, but the Queen wouldn't allow it because I was of their bloodline, so had to stay.
So they did try to traffic me to the US, but the Queen wouldn't allow it because I was off their bloodline. She's introduced this. A minute ago, her dad was working for the Royal Estates, but now she's of the bloodline and she's been trafficked to America. But the Queen said, no, don't you take my Ginny Jeanette away. She's of the bleeding bloodline, is what the Queen said, allegedly and apparently, and obviously not. That never happened. It didn't happen, Jeanette. Stop lying.
Hey.
You bleeding fake fraud. Oh,
I think just in general rituals.
She hasn't got a clue.
Satanic cult.
She hasn't got a clue how that manifests, or the dynamic around which child abuse occurs. Yeah, she's got no idea. The only dynamic she knows is the rhetoric, the narrative building, so she can shake her begging bowl. I think she's a bit like reduced to like Wedger now, and just getting her face out there because she's had her financial arse handed to her so many times now that I'm not sure if she's got a PayPal. I mean, she probably might have. I don't think she operates off YouTube. She does interviews where other people, like this mad German, because the Germans love all this, because it doesn't translate as well. It's like Wedger. If you put him in, he's gone in every language across Europe, smack talking about the British and our royal family and ritual abuse, because these two were friends. So you've got him in Swedish and Belgium, in German, in Danish, and all sorts of languages, with his boring diatribe and monologue about how the royal family are this and they've done that. And the people abroad lap it up, because obviously it's translated and they get subtitles. So Do you know what I mean? But it's the same old boring shit they come out with. It really naffs me off because at the end of the day, the royal family can't defend themselves. They can't say, excuse me, you know, all those bespoke channels saying that we're reptilian, satanic, this, that and the other. They can't say that. They've just got to grin and bear it. Yeah? I'll be honest, I don't give a flip about the royal family, but I do care about, you know, people, whoever you are. It doesn't matter whether you ain't got a pot to piss in. Being lied about and having your reputation trashed is just beyond the pale, especially when it's by people that are criminals themselves, like this whole thing. Do you get me?
The perpetrators get the children to comply purely through fear,
right,
and terror,
yeah,
and blackmail, as in it's either their life or another child's life.
Right, we're getting to this. She's a wicked woman.
So it's like trading all the time.
Right.
If you don't do that, that will happen to you. So there's a lot of...
just bullshit. When you're born in our era, there's a lot of that about you. Either eat your dinner or go without. You know, what's the other one? When you're crying. You bloody crying, you can cut that crying out. I'll give you something to cry about. Or my favourite was, how many times have I told you not to hit people? That is a good one. I mean, it was a different era and she just co-opted it all. It's just, oh yeah, like this and that. I reckon she was a right little bitch as a kid. And her poor mum and that, they don't have anything to do with her. Can you blame them?
Control and through torture.
Oh, bullshit,
children are made to comply.
Yeah.
Through the mind control program.
Don't forget, she's told you psychic special powers and she's of the bloodline. The Queen wouldn't let her go to America because Ginny Jeanette is a faith of the Queen ritually abusing in cells underneath. We're getting there. She's very clever and they developed her psychic powers and she was a super soldier assassin and everything. But I don't understand. I think I might be missing something because what I'm getting from this interview is that you're as thick as shit, mate. But go on.
They have full compliance from a child because they split off the child's brain
right.
to create alters or other parts.
Well, old Jeanette trying to grapple. She'd find it hard to grapple with a bleeding shopping list for Lidl. Do you get me? Without trying to grapple with the psychology of trauma and children and child abuse and anything around those areas of PTSD, CPTSD, and she keeps bandying around the word trauma bonding. She hasn't got any idea what that means. Be quiet. Go on.
As I prefer to call them.
Yeah,
I don't like the word
don't
alter.
care. You don't like
the other parts are then
She doesn't like the word alter because, as she'll go on and tell you anyway, because she's been satanically ritual abused, so she sees alter as in the alter ego or alter character. They split off her personality and she becomes a different person and it's known as an alter. ALTER. But altar is also something that, like, when you go to church, they got an altar. Because she's as thick as mint, she's like, but I don't like the word altar. And a little duper's delight grin there. Go on.
By the perpetrators, by the handlers.
God almighty, I couldn't
once they've done this splitting off,
right,
and they have control of those parts.
Right, what parts?
Compliance is very simple.
Yeah,
they just have to say the name.
I'm not being funny. It would freaking have to be simple with her, wouldn't it? Eh? And they just have to say my name, and then when they say Jeanette, you know they're talking to you, love, don't they? Oh my God, it's so complex. I'm so glad you've unpacked that for us.
A word that will trigger that part to come forward.
Right, shut up.
And they have full control.
Right, like telling you full of bullshit. What was your words? Oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah, of course, that's a very difficult question.
It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult.
Thousands of scenarios to choose from.
Yeah. There's thousands of scenarios, and the good news is, Futu viewers, or probably bad news for her, but the thousands that she has actually splurged across social media, I, Gertie Rude, have actually witnessed. So, do you get me? It's quite... And there was one, she was doing a live interview with somebody, and she was coming out with all this crap. If I can find it, I will. I've got it on my back catalogue. I did a Gertie Rude stand-up routine about her. And what was it they said? Oh, can you tell the... what was it? Who were the elite people that used to abuse you? And she went, hang on a minute. She said, I'll just go and get the list. I'm like, listen, love. Somebody pushed in front of me in I think it was Sainsbury's about 15 years ago, yeah? And I've still never forgotten it. And her face is like, what do you call it, embedded into my consciousness. And yet this whole thing, like, oh, I've got to get a list. Shut up. Be quiet.
About this, and for me, it was the day I was on a farm.
Right.
My grandfather ran for the elites.
The grandfather that died before she was even born, that one, he was marvellous. He was probably, you know, manifesting sort of spectrally a farm.
It's a farm that is owned by the Crown, so it's Royal Estate.
Oh, it's Royal Estate.
I was taken there.
It's a farm. It's not just any farm. It's a royal farm. And her grandfather, you know, the one that died in the 50s, he ran it. But in the 70s and 80s when she was a kid, 70s. Go on, love.
Often. It's a very regular place that I was taken to.
Right.
I had a sister that was...
You had one? Or you haven't got one?
Farm continuously.
Well, she says had, because I don't think any of her family talked to her. Do you get me? That's another story, though. Go on, love.
So she was raised feral on the farm.
Oh, she was feral.
But used
How
as
prescient.
A filler inner, if you like, in rituals.
Okay.
And she was...
Oh, so her sister weren't as good as her. Do you get me? She was special. She was a special person. Her sister was just kept like rather like a stray cat on her granddad that died in the 50s farm in the 70s. And she just was, as she said, feral, basically. She just ran around sort of naked on the farm and sort of scratched a living and some food and berry or whatever she did to stay alive. Because, you know, obviously she was the main super child, even though her parents were satanic, ritually something or other up in the echelons. So there you go. Right, let's go. Let's go.
Did worse than an animal. But every time I was held captive on the farm, we always found each other.
Yeah.
And would find time, a way to have some time to...
So she's captive on the farm, but she's finding each other and finding time to be together as whatever sisters. Feral, even though she's feral. Do you get me?
Together, if I was held captive in chains because there was a barn that I would be put into,
right, yes.
and chained up to, like the leading up to rituals,
right,
where I would be left there for days in preparation. And my sister Catherine,
no, even that doesn't even make any sense, does it? I mean, she has non-specific rituals and they've just chained her randomly up in a barn in her granddad's, who had a farm that he ran, but on behalf of the royal estates, because she's of the bloodline, a tenuous link. The Queen wouldn't let her go to America because the Queen says, no, I don't want Jeanette going to America. She's of the bloodline. And her granddad ran it, even though provably he died in the 50s, and now they've chained her up in a barn. And something's going to happen because they're preparing her, by chaining her in a barn, they're preparing her for some ritual. Do you get... I mean, keep up, troops.
She used to come and find me and bring me bits of water, bits of food.
Right, that's another thing. Right, because she made the mistake because she said the bits and she meant to say food, but she interspersed it with drinks and water because the narrative she's building is her chained up and obviously, probably starving of thirst and all this, and she put the bits in and said water and then followed it up with bits of food. Because the brain was overlapping in what she was saying. Do you get me? You can just tell.
She would literally risk her own life in doing that.
But she was feral. No one cared about her.
And then if there were times when they had all gone away and, left us in underground.
But the thing is, they're underground now. But the thing is, they've chained you up in the barn. What are they doing in the barn? What are they? Are they in the barn or are you alone in the barn? And your sister's feral. She's running around the barn. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. But she's running around the barn with... I'm just imagining a kid like something out of Lord of the Flies. Totally unkempt, hair everywhere, filthy fingernails, probably hardly any clothes on, if any, no clothes on. And there she is. She's like something out of, I don't know, Tarzan. And she's chained up in the same barn. And now, like she says, if they've left us there. Right, so... You're introducing the fact that you were chained up in the barn, and now you're saying that the adults, if they left you there, it doesn't make any sense. So did they chain you up in the barn as a usual occurrence? sort of sit and have a picnic. Do you get me? Because it doesn't make sense. So she's tacked on, and left us in underground cells or whatever. Right, we're gonna explore the whatever
cells or whatever. We would just be together in every single moment. And Catherine was my reason for living another day.
Right, yeah.
And every time I went to the farm, I used to fill my mind with just happiness that I would see her, and we just used to cling together all the time.
Yeah. But didn't you just say you were chained up in the barn and she used to bring you bits of water? We followed it up by saying bits of food. But she's feral, and then you cling together all the time, and then you kept in an underground... Was it an underground... Oh, I don't know what it was. What was it? Underground? Something underground no one cares about. Lies. Stop.
And this one day...
My grandfather, who died in the 50s.
My grandfather came along, and Catherine was ill. I could tell that she was a lot weaker this day.
Well, she would be. She's been running around the barn. Feral. For years, you know. Come on, love. Hurry up. I'm bored.
He ripped her out of my arms.
Right.
I think I was about 6 or 7 years of age, and Catherine would have been about 9.
Oh, so Catherine was older than you.
And I screamed and actually made noise, and it was the first time I'd ever made noise or dared to show anything. And my grandfather looked at me as if to say, no, don't do that, because, the consequences are going to be terrible.
So, and she's hugging her sister who's feral. She's been running around feral on this farm. So my granddad, who runs it, who died in the 50s, but runs this farm on the royal estates on behalf of the royals. This was the 70s. She was hugging her sister. This man came in, who, as I say, died in the 50s, grabbed the sister and pulled the sister out of her arms. She made a noise, and he was absolutely agog. He was like, fancy a kid's making a noise, you know what I mean? Shut up.
I didn't care, and I just screamed and screamed, no, 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 not Catherine, not Catherine. And he said, she's no use to me anymore because she's ill.
Yeah, but not being funny, she's been running around the bleeding farm feral. So, at what point was she of use to start with, love? Go on.
And he just pulled her off by one arm and dragged her along the ground.
Right.
And we made eye contact. Catherine looked back at me, and I looked in her eyes, and she looked in mine, and she was just telling me
psychically
that it's okay, and she wants to go.
She wants to go.
She wants it to be over. Right, and she was sorry for me leaving me behind, and I...
That look just said all that psychically. It's amazing this feral child could speak to her like that.
Spoke to her in a way of saying...
Oh, God, I'm so bored.
It's okay.
Stop.
I understand and I love you, because we spoke through our eyes, because we were never allowed to make any sound.
No.
So we could have this conversation while Catherine was being dragged away.
Right, yeah, I get you.
And then my grandfather took her into the forest, which was just on the edge of the farm. So I lost vision of her when he took her into the trees. Right. But then I could hear her, I could hear him hitting her over the head with the shovel that he had.
Right.
And
you knew it.
And he killed her within earshot. I could hear him killing her. And then I was still screaming, but I couldn't hear the sound.
Right.
It felt like my world had just fallen away and gone.
Right.
And I was just in this abyss.
Yeah.
And he came back over, my grandfather, and started kicking me.
Yes.
On the ground.
Right.
But
you were chained in the barn or something, weren't you? It's just such a load of crap, this. I'm so bored, Jeanette.
Just
hurry up.
Kept saying,
God's sake, my life.
Shut up. So I must have been still screaming.
Right, you must have been.
He just kicked me till I went silent.
Right.
I don't really remember anything else after that. Maybe I passed out, but that has been the hardest thing.
Yeah, but I've heard all her stories, and she tells far more outlandish stories than that. But there you go, that's quite tame.
for me to go through.
Right, go on. It's the only one you can remember.
Now, it breaks my heart every day. So, as much as there was so many horrific experiences, that one hurts me the most.
Yeah. Oh God, hurry up! But she does tell.
Yes.
She tells another story because there's a kid, historical child, Ben Needham, that went missing in the Isle of. Was it Crete? Corfu, I think it might have been. And he was never found. She tells a story that. He went missing in the 90s, but for the benefit of this old malt, yeah. She was put in a coffin under the ground with this little boy called Ben, and he was dying, and this and that, and the description she gives of this little boy is exactly Ben Needham uses the word Ben. I just think she's a fucking menace, nasty, wicked, evil woman.
My personal message is that all survivors need an opportunity to break their silence.
Yeah. But the thing is, she corners the market, and they're not really interested in any real survivors because their stories are too sort of pedestrian. They like all this outlandish bullshit that her and Widger come out with.
Is the Satanists and the perpetrators' greatest weapon.
Right.
They count on our silence.
Yes.
They depended on our silence.
Oh, I'd love a bit of silence from you, love.
Because exposure is their greatest fear.
Right.
So we have to do everything we can to speak out.
Right.
And people like the people that are helping us to speak out is what everybody needs to be doing.
So I would say that when she first hit this gravy train, that what's going on, it was co-opted by John Wedger and other loudmouths like her, that all child abuse was satanic. So there's a bunch of Satanists running around in the woods, and I forgot to tell you in the other video I did that he was randomly in like Hampstead Heath and wherever it was, he hanging around in the woods and in the trees and sitting in the bushes and waiting for the Satanists and all this, that and the other. Because the majority, like 99.9% recurring of child abuse, doesn't happen like this. It's just very ordinary. So if you are traumatised by any form of childhood abuse, then you listen to this and you think, I've got nothing to moan about, really. I mean, it's just bullshit. All of it's rubbish. Go on!
For as long as there are still survivors that are too scared to speak...
Well, they would be after listening to your bleeding crap.
The children on this planet will never be safe and never be free.
Well, they won't be if they believe you.
I always imagine if every single survivor...
Yes!
...victim of any of this abuse...
Right.
Ritual abuse, satanic ritual abuse... You know, the rape, the torture, the mind control, everything that we've all endured.
Right.
If every single victim and survivor spoke out,
right, and
broke their silence, they would have nowhere left to go.
No.
It would be over for them.
See, it's just a massive, a grandiose narcissist, and she's just full of shit, really. As I say, you know, I was going to be trafficked to America, but the Queen wouldn't let me go, and... You know, she wasn't just a kid from an abused home. She was a specially abused kid from a specially abusing home, attached to some specially abusing people. She's so gifted and different, and she was bred to be gifted and different, darlings. You heard her say it at the beginning. She's psychic, a super soldier assassin, but when her granddad, who actually, on paper, died in the 50s, but was still alive in the 70s, according to her narrative, to kick her to the ground when she was already chained up in a barn. Her super skills and assassin sort of training was it was probably turned off that day.
It is only the secrecy and the silence that enables them to carry on.
Right.
When this happens, because I believe it will...
Go on.
The light that will come from that will
here we go,
destroy every ounce of their darkness.
Because they always call on a deity, you know, all ne'er-do-wells do, all liars do as well. So they always allude to some extent, Wedger does it, to some type of spirituality that gives them, I don't know, verification, credibility, justification, all those sort of words that even though this is all happening there, they've got God as their shield and this bullshit and the light and the darkness, just rubbish. I don't think she says she's got a PayPal, but she used to. I think her and Wedger have given up on that. Come on, love.
And they will no longer be able to harm any children left on this earth.
Thank Flip for that. I have to listen
so
to you.
that's my message.
Right.
That is my wish for humanity.
Yes.
For every baby and every child. That whatever it takes, whether you're a survivor or a supporter of survivors or somebody that can help in any other way, help survivors speak out and help survivors break their silence.
Right, and then you find that actually all this rhetoric, she means her, because even though she was quite big on the scene, she's never helped any survivor speak out apart from her. And she's just a raging bleeding narcissist and fantasist, full of hooey. And it's any wonder that when people do try to get to the bottom of, say, child abuse rings, elite child abuse rings, I mean, look how long it took for the Northern girls to be heard. And there are so many grifters, there's so many obfuscationists like her, there's so many people that are willing to jump on the gravy train. There's other provocateurs that would jump on people like her that are fantasists and co-opt them as real people and promote them as real people, like Wedger did with her. Bill Maloney did with Andrew Ash, who was proved to be a fantasist in the elite child abuse, and then Cole Beach. So you had Andrew Ash, Cole Beach, and I think it was called Operation U-Tree, wasn't it? So I've always said they like to keep it all arboreal, basically. And they were proved to be fantasists, so obviously once you've got two fantasists on the backdrop of an elite PDF ring running out of, say, Westminster, this is historic, it was in the 70s and 80s, right? So culturally and in the media and political sense, they've managed to find or co-opt or do whatever they did. I mean, both of them were simple. This Andrew Ash and this Cole Beach, and they were proved to be fantasists. Cole Beach was actually put in prison. I think he's in prison for quite a long time for telling lies and just being a general jerk. But I feel he was promoted just like they promoted Andrew Ash, so they could build him up, because there is footage on YouTube of Bill Maloney getting Andrew Ash. He was when he was bullying him and he was grooming him into saying the narrative what he wanted him to say, but he was subnormal. He was educationally subnormal, Andrew Ash. I think that Brian, what's his name, bloke, did a lot about it. I can't think what his other name is. The lad with it, stay another day. What's his name? East 7, that lad. Do you know what I mean? He did a lot about it, because I think they tried to get him involved. And he's got his own issues as well. But of course they pick on vulnerable people, don't they? And try and co-opt them and give them somebody that's got a celebrity name, or give them some sort of credibility. It was all going on. So this was going on between 13 and about probably 17. And then it was all put to bed in as much that the Crown Prosecution Service found too. I think Panorama highlighted the fact that Andrew Ash was a bleeding liar. And then the Crown Prosecution Service prosecuted Cole Beach, who was proved to be a liar and a fantasist. So, and they were promoted by what I believe, and in my opinion, was provocateurs, whose job was to find or to groom or to create some fantasists that they could say, look, nothing's happening, they're just fantasists. So people that were affected, and there are a number of people that were affected, because it really was a kind of thing, running out of children's homes. I mean, you've only got to cross-reference it with what we now know to be factually have been going on in the northern towns. But I mean, we say northern towns, I mean, if Oxford Northern, it was happening there, it was happening basically everywhere. So, but it's synonymous with the northern towns, like the Rochdale grooming scandal, I think they call it, Maggie Oliver and all this, that and the other. So if that was a real factually thing that was going on, and despite every type of obfuscation and cover-up and smokescreen and projection and whatever you call it, sublimation, whatever they did, it still came out. This was actually suppressed and repressed by fantasists, they just field a load of fantasies. Whether it's on the news or on social media, they've got different operatives for different media outlets, I would say, and she's one of them. So anyway, I've had enough of you. You're just full of hooey crap. I don't think you're shaking your begging bowl, and if you are, shame on you.